So if you haven't been living under a rock for the past few months, then you will be aware that there's been several instances of content creators having inappropriate relationships with minors. I mean, there's no other way around, it's just minors. And that brings into question a lot of things, like is there more creators that are going to be exposed for doing this? Why do creators doing this? And more importantly, who are these creators and what is their stories? We're going to get into that and more on this episode. So stick around, don't go anywhere, let's go. You know, for most people, it seems pretty cut and dry, right? You don't talk to kids inappropriately, you respect your elders, but for some reason, as content creators grow, they just seem to find themselves more and more in controversy left and right. Like, we are almost in an epidemic right now of creators not being able to resist the temptation of jailbait, I guess would be the only word to really explain it. And then, of course, you have situations like Chris Tyson where nobody in their right mind would think it's okay to joke with a kid that's as young as the people that he or she joked with at the time. It's hard to really break it down because when he was doing this, he was a he, but now he's a she. So, like, where is the gender lines? I can't figure this out, man. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be understanding of your plight, but it gets complicated sometimes. Like, if I'm talking about someone who is a boy at the time, but now is a girl, is it okay to reference him as a boy? I'm losing my goddamn mind about this shit. But you know what? That's a conversation for another day. If I'm talking about Chris Tyson, we're going to be referencing him as Chris Tyson, not Ava Tyson, the new person that they are, but the person that was in existence when he was committing these acts. And of course, we also have the Cody Co situation and Dr. Disrespect. And honestly, the list goes on and on. I can make an entire documentary about half of the kick users that are having issues like Heel Mike. I mean, you've already seen my situation talking about Derek Roz. Of course, we have Riot LOL. All these people who just seem to not know the boundary between minors and adults. And where is that line? It seems pretty clear to most of us, but apparently some of us did not get the memo. And those are the people we're going to be talking about today. So the first person I want to cover is somebody who goes by the name Cody Co. He's very, very well known as a content creator on YouTube. He's been around since Vine days. That's kind of where he got his start. He's been in movies, for Christ's sake. He was in The Real Bros of Simi Valley, which is actually a really, really funny movie. If you haven't checked it out, I suggest checking it out. I watched it with my fiance the other day, and I found it to be incredibly hilarious.
First day of classes was pretty chill. I'm straight up ready to hone my craft. Oh my God.
Wait, Reno. Do you not burn?
No, I burn.
You're the guy that doesn't burn.
Burn.
Let's smoke some.
Then again, I'm a boring white guy, so it's the kind of comedy that we like, just calling it for what it is. Anyway, so what happened with Cody Co was, in a video documented by D'Angelo Wallace, Cody Co and Tana Mojo apparently had a relationship when Cody Co was 25 and Tana Mojo was 17, except it wasn't like a relationship, it was kind of like a one-night stand, but still, Cody Co did sleep with Tana Mojo. At least that's what Tana Mojo says. We haven't heard from Cody Co to be able to make the difference in what actually took place that night. So for that, I will mention that this is all speculation. Obviously, I wasn't there, but if you go and ask people like Gabby Hanna, she will say that she had given Cody Co a heads up that Tana Mojo was 17 when they first started hooking up. She was at a party, she saw Cody Co and Tana smooching and said, "Yo, Cody Co, that girl is jailbait. You do not want to do that. You're going to get yourself in trouble." Cody said, "Oh my God, thank you so much, bro. Like, thank you. I do burn, but I don't mess with minors." And then apparently, according to Gabby Hanna, he went and slept with her anyway, even after being told she was 17.
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, "Hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older. She's underage. Watch it." And he's like, "Oh my God, thank you for telling me." And then he turned that.
That is a big no-no, Mr. Cody Co. You should not do that, regardless whether or not Tana Mojo looks like she's 18 or 20 or however old she may look. By the law standards, that is incredibly frowned upon. Now, a lot of people have interesting takes on both sides, some in defense of Cody Co, some in defense of Tana Mojo. However, there's one thing we know for sure, and that is that a 25-year-old has no business sleeping with a 17-year-old. Now, some people can go into whether or not Tana Mojo was victimized, even though it was consensual. She didn't say Cody Co took advantage of her. I mean, some people were pointing out that there's only a 365-day age difference between her being legal and not. That doesn't seem like a very good argument to make when you're trying to justify sleeping with a 17-year-old. Now, in my opinion, should Cody Co have done it? Absolutely not. But I also feel like Tana Mojo may not be the victim she's making herself out to be, mainly because we weren't there. We don't know. Was she aggressively pursuing him? She did say she was a big fan of him, and, you know, were they drunk? Was he drunk? I don't know. I mean, we all make bad decisions when she's drunk, but the point of the matter is that Cody Co video effed up big time, right? Now, there's some takes in that video that I don't really necessarily agree with, like D'Angelo Wallace saying that the commentary community is a boys club, even though some of the best commentary YouTubers are females. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, man. The girls get shit done when it comes to gossip in the YouTube space. Like, to say that it's nothing but a boys club, then it's just silly. Is there certain groups of people and cliques, yeah, that are boys? Of course, but there's certain cliques of girls that also represent their little communities. I mean, it's a very cliquey community where groups stay kind of close together. You gotta like be welcomed into that group to be accepted among your peers, but it's probably the same thing with the girls. But I mean, that's not the situation we're getting into. This is just simply something that I thought D'Angelo Wallace kind of missed when he was trying to point that out, saying that people were trying to protect Cody Ko because it's a boys club. Now, the reason I think that most people were protecting Cody Ko is because he has a nice track record of being a good guy. He took care of his friends, he was nice to his friends, but he also has friends that have done some shady stuff.
You used to frequently feature and promote your college friend Colby Leachman in your videos, until it came out that during your school days, Leachman's university put him on probation for, as a United States District Judge would later put it, the non-consensual videotaping of a sex act with another student, showing the video to other people, lying to the police about the video, and behaving horribly to that individual and at least one other woman.
Apparently in college, and filmed themselves inappropriately engaging in sexual actions with a female. Now again, I wasn't there. This is all just things that were reported. I'm kind of just doing the overall summary of the situation and giving my express takes on it. I didn't do a deep dive into this, so this is all mostly an opinionated piece for this video. I don't want you guys to assume that this is all 100% true. I'm just giving you guys what is out there right now. Now, whether or not Cody Ko should have stayed friends with someone like that, that's not really for us to decide, because like, honestly, people can change. I do believe that that's a narrative that exists in the world. Like, there's been people out there who've done terrible things, but you know, they've learned from that and they've tried to be better from it. Like, I don't know the guy personally, but I can understand though why people have such a problem with it, because Cody Ko is such a massive figure online that, you know, you don't want to be around anybody who can tarnish that record that you have or that reputation that you've worked so hard to create. Now, the Cody Ko situation is incredibly nuanced. A lot of people have really strong opinions on both sides, but the fact of the matter is Cody Ko messed up when he was 25 sleeping with a 17-year-old. That is pretty much the meat and potatoes of that whole situation. And then of course you have the whole Dr. Disrespect thing. Let's begin. Which was another beloved creator who found himself in a controversy because he messaged minors while he was on Twitch. But unlike Cody Ko, Dr. Disrespect decided to put out a public statement about it.
Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I'd never want jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed, I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Now, from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect and I'll fucking own my shit. This was stupid. Now, with all this said, don't get it fucking mistaken, I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no fucking predator or pedophile. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me fucking knows where I stand on those things with those types of people. Fuck that. That's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. But I think I've said what I needed to say regarding the ban itself. That's it. That's why Twitch made the decision in 2020. To my team, community, industry friends that have supported me, I apologize, I wish I could have said all this sooner. You guys have always showed me and my family love and support throughout all these years. We love you guys like you can't imagine. I have the fucking best community and circle. If any of this has made you uncomfortable, I get it. You don't have to support me anymore, but just know you have always been greatly appreciated. But trust me when I say this, to all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero real life experience, I don't give a fuck about you. Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a piece of shit, that's fine. But I'm not fucking going anywhere. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders. They want me to disappear. Yeah, fucking right.
Now, I'll be the first to admit, this situation is a lot different than Cody Ko's situation because, one, there's really no witnesses except for the person that Dr. Disrespect was talking to, and they never came forward. We don't know the messages that were between him and the minor, so we can't really judge the extent of how bad they were. In my opinion, I would not classify Dr. Disrespect as a predator. A predator to me is someone who, like, wants to meet with children and wants to do this stuff and doesn't take no for an answer or won't admit fault in what they're doing. Dr. Disrespect in his response clearly showed that he, hey, I effed up big time. I have nothing in common with the guy that I was then. And of course, like, we didn't see the messages, so we don't even know whether or not he said anything sexual or if there was any kind of invitation for any kind of thing like that. This definitely hurts his credibility, though, in the long run. And I think most people are upset because he even put himself in this situation in the first place, which most people look at Dr. Disrespect as a really smart guy with a lot of charisma, incredibly entertaining. So to have something like this come out, I think a lot of fans of Dr. Disrespect are feeling more disheartened and disappointed than they are angry and mad. Unlike our next person that we're going to be talking about. The name Mr. Beast is synonymous with YouTube. There's nobody on YouTube who doesn't know who Mr. Beast is. It's usually the first person you're recommended when you're signing up for an account. So his brand is basically untarnished and has been perfect up until this point. Now, if you thought Dr. Disrespect's reputation was prestigious, then you can imagine how prestigious people look at Mr. Beast's brand and record. Up until this point, Jimmy has done zero wrong. And I would even go as far as to say Jimmy at the point right now hasn't done anything wrong, regardless of the amount of commentators that come out and say more is coming, which maybe it will. We don't know. And even though this story involves Mr. Beast, the story is not based on Mr. Beast. Now, this story is based on Chris Tyson, who is Mr. Beast's best friend and someone who has become quite controversial in the past year since Chris transitioned from Chris to Ava Tyson. So I'm going to give you guys kind of the synopsis of what exactly happened between Ava, because now it's Ava, who's currently in existence. Again, this is so frustrating. How am I supposed to know whether I'm supposed to refer to her he or she when he was doing it when he was he, but now she's a she? It's so confusing. All right, so don't get mad at me if I mess up the gender stuff because the expectations to get it perfect are just so goddamn high. All right, EG, woosah, woosah. All right, sorry. I mean, just the absolute ridiculousness about getting genders right when you're telling a story about people who change sex is just incredibly crazy to me. But anyway, I digress. When Ava was Chris, because we'll just refer to him as Chris Tyson because this is what he was when he was doing this stuff, had a friend named Lava. Now, Lava was a 13-year-old boy, became very close with Chris Tyson at the time. Now, Lava claims that he wasn't groomed, but a lot of times when people are young, right, he still might look up to Chris or Ava or what I guess Ava now. Wouldn't it be crazy if after these allegations he was just like, you know what, I'm not Ava anymore. It looks like I don't need to keep up this charade. I'm off Mr. Beast. That would just blow my mind. All right, but anyway, that's a point that I'm not going to try to get into right now. But anyway, Lava claims that nothing happened between him and Chris, but he seems like a guy who's just defending his friend. In a video that surfaced from a previous Mr. Beast episode, you can see Lava appear in this video, and there's kind of like a bit of an edgy innuendo suggested here, and Lava is a minor during this time, so I mean, let you guys be the judge of whether or not this is appropriate.
Evil. Lava, Pluto, assemble!
Hi, how are you?
I need you to make this 10 times harder.
How hard do you want it, Jimmy?
Hard.
Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize why some people are looking at this clip and suggesting that the innuendo is inappropriate to have with a minor involved in this video. But I mean, this could be taken several different ways. This is just one example of people saying that Lava was being addressed inappropriate by people in the Mr. Beast organization. Another interesting twist in this story involves the people who expose this information called Prism 42, who on Chud Logic's podcast, shout out Chud, good job, brother, said that they have strong conservative beliefs that are related to people like Charlie Kirk. And as a conservative myself, I gotta say that, like, I don't know if that was the right place and the right time to say that, because now it kind of comes off like you're just going after Ava because they're trans. And I think that kind of hurts the credibility of their story. Plus, they mentioned that when they interviewed Lava, that Lava was expected to do an interview for an editing job, but in reality, they were just trying to get dirt on Ava, which Lava probably would have never done, and was misled into giving an interview with people who weren't being very forthcoming with what they were interviewing him about. That doesn't change the context of what Ava did as disgusting, just I found an interesting twist in this little story here. I'm not going to be diving into like all the evidence surrounding Chris Tyson and Lava, because honestly there's just so much, and this video is kind of more like an overview of what happened and not like a deep dive. So pardon me if I don't have every little piece of evidence out there, because there's tons. I'm mainly going off of the Rolling Stone article that was written recently regarding this situation. For an example of some of the evidence though that took place between Chris, who was at the time Chris, not Ava, so if I say he, don't jump down my throats, I swear to God. The journalist wrote that in one interaction, Tyson tweeted an image of her Patreon and said that if she could get one more sign up that she would be releasing my nudes. Lava replied with, "I'm your first Patreon, big boy," and Tyson responded with, "I posted some fire nudes for you, please no share." There was no nudes shared as far as we know. In a Discord server for gaming YouTuber The Do, Lava posted an image from Tyson's group chat of her in front of an American flag with the caption, "Coming for America." To others, these conversations look inappropriate, but it was nothing out of the ordinary to Lava. "I was at an age where I spoke with all my friends like that," Lava says. "There was nothing more than that. It was how bros talk. I talked to Chris as an older brother because he reminded me a lot of my older brother." I totally understand why Lava's trying to defend Chris. He looked up to Chris as he was growing up. I mean, what kid out there wouldn't look at Mr. Beast as a role model? However, a lot of times when kids are in that situation, a lot of times they can't really understand what actually is taking place with them. It was up to Chris to be the mature one in that situation and not say those types of things. And I think that's where everybody's having a huge issue with Chris Tyson in this moment. And being like an immature adult, I totally understand the whole, this is just kind of how we talk bro stuff, because guys do tend to be very immature when they're talking with their friends, and it might have been an effort for Lava to want to feel like he was an adult and be like the cool kid with them. It's not the first kid in the history of the world who wanted to impress an older kid. I mean, let's just leave it at that. And again, I just want to point out that I think the main issue here is that people expected Chris to be the adult in this situation. Like, even though, yeah, you were 20 and still kind of immature yourself, you weren't even legal enough to drink. When I was 20, I don't think that I could ever see myself engaging with a young kid like that. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like something smells off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not kosher. All right, you don't do those things with kids when you're an adult, and 20 is an adult by legal standards. Old enough to go off the war, shit. And then there's like the whole lolly thing, which first let me just say, I love anime. I really do, but I like kick-ass anime. I like when people are kicking each other's ass in anime. The whole sex anime, I've never really gotten it. It's never been something that appealed to me. I mean, I guess in a way I can understand the appeal of it, you know, but the one part of that I don't get is the lolly stuff, which, if you're not familiar with what lolly is the depiction of young girls as cartoon characters that are very sexualized or in situations that are incredibly disgusting. And nobody was more known for that on the internet than somebody who goes by the name Shadman. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Shadman. I just know what he's done, and that is create a lot of really horrible imagery through his art. Like, he almost is like an artist for evil, I guess I could say. Caught up in so much controversy. Like, he drew a picture of Keemstar's then 7 or 6-year-old daughter doing something incredibly inappropriate with Trump. Now, just that alone should be enough for you to know that Shadman is basically kind of like a piece of shit. And Chris was like begging Shadman for art for characters he wanted to see. They were all young, you know, anime characters. Now, that to me kind of hints that, hey, you know, something's a little inappropriate here, even going as far as to have a Shadman art piece placed on his wall in his apartment. One picture's out there of Mr. Beast staring at it in one video, and it's like, no, Mr. Beast. It was kind of funny, but I can't obviously show you any of that shit because it's so incredibly disgusting. So you're gonna just have to trust me, bro, on that one. I mean, if you go on X, you can find all this stuff. It's all out there. Right now, I'm basically telling you the story. For anybody who's not familiar with it, now you're all caught up with everything. So essentially, Chris Tyson inappropriately talked to a 13-year-old kid, had too close of a relationship with a 13-year-old kid, worked for Mr. Beast, got him a job. Mr. Beast may or may not have known how old Lava was, included him in creepy innuendos for some videos. Chris Tyson also was a big fan of Shadman, who was known for his disgusting art pieces, even going so far as to have Shadman artwork up on his wall. That is the meat and potatoes of it. That is the gist that you're getting at here. Ava Tyson has announced they're walking away from Mr. Beast. Basically, Mr. Beast was probably like, you gotta go. Like, we cannot salvage this. Sorry, we already put up with like the whole changing into a woman thing. Now you're gonna destroy our brand by all the creepy shit you used to do back in the day. Now, I'm not saying Ava does that anymore, and I'm also pointing out that that is not a broad stroke to assume that everybody in the trans community does shit like that. There's always people who are outliers in any community, and clearly we cannot judge a whole orchard of apples from one apple that has a worm in it. Now, that brings me to my conclusion, or my final thoughts, as Jerry Springer once said. I can't help but feel like Chris Tyson is not going to be the last person we hear about who does stuff like this for some reason, and I cannot for the life of me understand what it is, because grown women are way more beautiful than like a child. Maybe that's because I'm normal, maybe that's a hot take, I don't know. Influencers who have young fans, it's important to remember that you are talking to a child and not an adult. You cannot talk to every fan the same exact way. One, because you just don't know the background where they come from. Two, you don't know their age half the time. A lot of kids may present themselves like an adult so that they get accepted in communities. It's your job to know when to be mature and when it's okay to joke and be a little bit of an edgelord. It's clear to me that there is an absolute pandemic of influencers out there who are not knowing the lines and crossing them constantly, because I don't know if they feel this power or this ego that comes along with success online and being a recognizable figure that just thinks that that entitles them to crossing lines that other people can't cross. If you enjoyed this video but missed all the drama I was in involving Scammer Payback, click this video right here.